Happy 110th. Happy Facebook Live Wednesday, you guys. I am really excited about the topic that I chose today because I think given the past few months of kids having emotional meltdowns because of academic stress, I thought, what better topic than to choose how do we create? How do we raise a creative thinker? And I've come to realize that I've made many mistakes focusing on grades, focusing on the end results, on accomplishments that cause so much unnecessary stress on our children. And now that I have a new opportunity to work with younger children, I realize the importance of play. So the three tips that I've decided to share. One is just simple toys, and it doesn't matter how old your child is. I decided to get these magnet tiles that can create castles, can create, anything in your child's imagination. But using your imagination, I think, is just so important. But whether it's giving them crayons and putting a huge piece of paper out using watercolor, having them get messy. You know, we miss, our kids today miss the opportunities that we had as children. We played in the mud, we played outdoors, we got dirty, and there was no fear of COVID. There was no fear of us getting sick, but we used to drink from the water faucet, remember? I'm not saying to do that, but my whole aim today is to get parents to think about non-electronic, or even we watch, I know we've been watching a lot of movies and TV shows, and then I realized that it does kill some brain cells, if I want to be honest. And what it does is it minimizes and prevents us from being creative, unless you use the TV show to expand and talk about self-reflective questions. Ask, like, what do you think is going to happen? Why did they do what they did? And I'm finding out that we have a lot of deep family conversations based on shows that we're watching and getting into the minds of the characters. That is creative thinking. But if you just give them, even make them have their own meal prep day, or make a peanut butter jelly sandwich and use cookie cutters. If the imagination is so huge, and if we ask our children what they want to do, and even if it's just, what do you want to do in the yard? And sometimes they'll find little sticks and you'll be bored. But I'm finding tutoring at the park, when little kids run, and I'm thinking, oh, they're being distracted, and then they come back with some flowers for me, or they notice a little bean that fell from the tree, and they present it, they run and pick it up and give it to me and say, look what I found, a magic bean. Talk about fostering creativity, and me having to step back and put a pause on my academic goals and what I feel that need to be taught, to prepare them for a second grade, to prepare them from kindergarten. But these kids are teaching me how to foster their creativity. So if he's, or you have a teenager in the house, he or she can actually maybe come up with a different way, a different path to come home. Don't just take the same path, do something different. I remember long ago, I just thought of this now, we saw someone being blindfolded taken to a show at the Hawaii Theater, and it was a surprise. But I thought, come up with just creative ideas to surprise someone. I know that our family usually stays away from junk food, so for my husband's birthday, I just put Oreo cookies in one of the doggy bakery bags, just to and it's such simple fun, but people laugh. Humor does foster creativity. When you think of, our brains are happy. When our brains are stressed, you really dampen creativity. So step back, have your child create possibilities, but also when I talk about stepping back, It means not to dive in if your child is crying and you immediately go, oh no, what happened? Come here. And what you're doing is teaching your child, oh, when I'm sad, I get extra love from my mom, my dad, my aunt, my uncle, my grandma, my grandpa, right? But if we really help kids develop that independence so that they know, right? They know, even as adult children, I notice that I'm aware and I try not to sweep in and do that. You know, everyone wants that motherly guidance and extra love. But if you're constantly swooping in, when they're having a hard time, you give guidance right away, it does hinder creativity. They don't feel they can do it on their own. And they could be, you know, I remember I was in my 40s and my parents were sweeping in if I had a worry about one of my daughters. And I think the older generation was taught to be a good parent is to make sure that you prevent problems, you make their child's journey, you know, easier, and you do not let them suffer. And now we're realizing what's been happening. You know, we blame the millennials for not being independent, for, you know, being not like us. But when you look at what we've done, there's been a lot of huge progress in just having them be independent, having them do what they feel is worthy of them, which is why they might be quitting their job, because they think, I don't need to put up with that. And then the older generation is like, wait a minute, you need to persevere, you need to be tough. But I just realized from one of my daughters, she said, you know what, strength isn't just pushing through hard times. Strength is also when to leave and walk away. And I thought, we never think of that, you know, that walking away is a strength. But stepping back and allowing your children, no matter what age, you know, have them learn to manage their own emotions and, you know, without stepping in. Giving support, giving guidance is wonderful, but we need to allow our kids, they are so much more resilient than we think they are. And I really thought I was a bad mom for stepping away. And then you realize, wow, my daughters just did not, you know, fall into that black hole of disappointment or failure or whatever we think is the worst case scenario. So do that. Step back, trust. I know it's tough. Recently, I've had to struggle because I always say, trust your child's journey. But when it gets really, really tough, you might have to walk away. You might have to just go within and tell yourself, it's going to be okay. They're going to be okay. And really let your child fly away. And if they fall, I was watching this baby bird and the mom didn't sweep in and save him. And he was falling. I thought if that was a human, someone would sweep in and pick that child up, right? Quick mini story. My husband brought it up that when my eldest fell, every time she fell, we would clap. And we would go, yay! So she never cried when she fell because we thought it was, you know, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? I'm hurt. But then he said it could have backfired where she thought, I'm going to fall because every time I fall, my parents applaud. So we laughed about that. But stepping back, simple toys. The third most important one that I'm finding with every child that I work with, anyone as young as 4, as old as, right now I have my oldest is like 15, right? My students, they struggle with boredom. So I looked up, what are the benefits of boredom? Listen to this. Fosters creativity, increases self-esteem, and it creates original thinking. So instead of, you know, always copying what they see, if you look at TikTok and these creative, now, you know, when I want a recipe, instead of Googling, my daughter says, hey, just look at TikTok. They have like a faster way. I found this great way to make kale chips. We're using the air fryer. She goes, Mom, just look at TikTok. There's a recipe that I tried. And I thought, who would have thought that TikTok, who a lot of people used to think, oh my gosh, what is that? Just for silly dances. But now they have a lot of simple life hacks in making something creative, and it could be the most simplest solution to something that might have caused you just kind of annoyance. It's not like they're inventing something really huge. Sometimes they are. But a lot of these young kids are creating career paths. My daughter just mentioned that there was a early 20-year-old, early 20s, maybe younger than her. My oldest is 26, and she lost her job during the pandemic, decided to do like meditations or crystals, and then now she's doing jewelry, and she's doing workshops and online events, and she cleared $1 million, 6 figures, and now if things progress, she's on her way to doing 6 figures, and she's not even 24. So I know in our generation it was work hard, find a great job, and stick with it no matter what. You just put up with maybe a toxic work environment. Some people would put up with a toxic relationship, but creative thinking gets you far in life, not just career-wise and financial security, but it also helps you with relationships. It helps you with just life struggles in general. And I'm realizing that if we do not teach our children how to manage boredom, I have so many kids who hate homework because it's boring. They don't want to clean their room because it's boring. So when I talk to them and I ask them, how can we make it fun? Can you turn it into a game? And they look at me and they're like, yeah, I guess I could play music and dance while I put my toys away. Yes. Can you think of solving math problems? Like, how many problems can you do before a song ends? Oh, that would be fun. And they try it. This one girl loves to use colors, colored pens, and draw just fabulous notes for biology, for algebra. Really beautiful, but it makes a boring subject fun when she gets to create art and use fun fonts and her handwriting. I thought, you can just sell these notes, seriously, because everyone wants to borrow her notes. But I'm thinking, we can actually help our children find the right career path for them. Because sometimes when we are doing something we love and it's something creative, it can turn into a career path. I would never have imagined me helping parents the past, I started Brain Builders in 1999, but I've been teaching since about like 1994. Yes, a long time. And I realized that every time I spoke to parents, every time they asked me for suggestions, in a way, it was like parent coaching. I just thought, I'm just talking story, giving my feedback on how to handle a particular issue they had with their child. Little did I know it would, lead me to being interviewed on global radio shows. Someone from Australia reached out. Some of you have seen The Living 808, not doing that anymore, but it's just amazing how something fun, I would never have created, let me show you this book. You know how this book was created? 100 parenting tips inspired by the pandemic. One of my friends said, why don't you go live for the, last 2 weeks of summer break in 2020 and give daily tips. So it started out to be just a fun hobby, turned into 100 parenting tips, which turned into a book. And so it really is, I think it really starts. If I had to redo my parenting with my daughters, I would not focus on grades and making sure that I quiz them on their spelling tests and making sure that they did a worksheet every day. Yes, even when we went to Disneyland, even if it was New Year's Eve, my daughters find their workbooks thinking, you made us work, Mom, on our birthdays, on our family vacations. And I apologize. I think being an educator, I put my focus on the wrong the wrong priorities. I really believe that grades were really important. And so now that I'm seeing multiple meltdowns from kids who are so stressed at failing, at getting that C, getting their phones taken away, having a negative consequence because of bad grades, that message I hear from my kids who, it's just heartbreaking. My students become my kids, and they feel like one boy said, he was told that he might end up homeless. Another one might say, heard that they might not get into a good college. And the formula, you need to get high grades to get into a good college. If money is tight, then, the pressure to get a scholarship. And then after the college degree, you get into a great, find the perfect job, and then you stay there till you retire. And now we're realizing college graduates now sometimes change fields, sometimes create their own job and quit when they feel like this doesn't serve me anymore. We can see that as, oh my gosh, no work ethic. What are they doing? They're leaving, their resume is going to look horrible with all these short-term jobs. Flip switch it. My daughter was telling me people in their 20s actually are fine quitting jobs every 2 years. And this was an interesting story. Someone from Canada started earning maybe 45, 50,000 as, I don't know, as a graphic designer or something. Maybe it was a website creator. And he quit after 2 years. And supposedly every job that he had, his income increased 20 to 30,000 more. 20,000 plus. And he was not judged. He was not judged on quitting, but people started recruiting him. And I just thought, what? So recently, my eldest has been recruited. She just started a new job. She was making really good money at a company and decided, you know what, I'm going to leave. Hasn't even been a year. And at first, we judge. We should at least, stick it out for a year, stick it out for whatever time frame. And then I stepped back. Creative thinking mode. First of all, it is not my journey. Second of all, she's not a minor. She is just turned 26. My youngest is 20. And I'm finding myself judging their choices or judging their thoughts and their beliefs. And then I'm realizing I'm the one who has the limiting beliefs. And I'm the one who does not have the creative thinking. So I thought, I'm kind of sometimes running out of creative ideas. If any of you have an idea that you want me to share regarding a parenting struggle, please message me and I'll do a Facebook Live on it. But I'm realizing, you know what? We need to start this creative process earlier. If your child, say, is 5 and drawing and the tree is not green, and you say, you must color the picture this way, or maybe they color outside of the lines. My oldest said when she was little, she could not bear coloring outside of the lines. And now we're revisiting their childhood and seeing what caused them to have limited beliefs. Guess what? It's what they learned. She goes, Mom, I guess you meant well, but I was really a stickler on, it was maybe 4th of July and she had summer school at Kamehameha School, getting up at 5 a.m. To me, sleep was important. So I told them, you can't watch the rest of the July 4th, how they always have these concerts. It was a musician she really wanted to watch. And she's like, really, Mom, it's summer. I said, but you have summer school tomorrow. You have to get up early. And I didn't realize my strict schedule pretty much, I was responsible for their limiting creative thinking. And only recently when I stepped back, big step in fostering creativity, is to really step back and not dive in when they're sad, when they're struggling, when you think that, oh my gosh, they need me. If ever there is a sign for you not to step back, or to step back, is when you feel the need that I need to save them or else their world will crumble. They will not be prepared. They will not be prepared if we keep stepping in. I am proof of that. My parents stepped in, oh my gosh, so many, many, many times. Even when I, was in my 40s, and I know my parents, my dad especially, blamed himself for not teaching me to lose. I've been honest and vulnerable about my failed suicide attempt when I was in my early 30s. And I don't blame my dad at all, but I thought it was interesting how he thought that he didn't give me an opportunity to lose or make me, not suffer, basically, right? If your child has a problem, you swoop in and you want them to feel better. But if you do that each time, I invite you to think about, and it's not a happy thought, but what will life be like when you're no longer living? And because I've lost both parents, this has struck such a deep, deep, it just touches my soul, because I'm realizing, and I don't blame my parents at all. I'm an only child. Their goal was to make sure that I was happy, made sure that, I'll share one story before I end this, but my daughters, they both took karate, and the gi was too big. And so I asked my mom she was always doing the, fixing it up, right? Altering. She was in charge of altering any outfit that didn't fit, but her arthritis hurt. My dad thought about this apparently all night, because the first thing in the morning he goes, you know what, I don't care how much it costs, just buy another one that fits her. I said, but she's gonna outgrow it. No, your mom can't alter it. But instead of letting me figure it out, or maybe letting Chelsea like wear something that's a little too loose on her, he swept in and did his thing. And I know he meant well, and I appreciate it. It just makes me cry to think at how much they sacrificed for me. And I just think, if there's one thing, sorry, I know I just gonna get this emotional. If there's one thing that we can do for our kids, is stop saving them or preventing them from making mistakes. I had to help someone with their college essay, and it was describe a failure. They never failed. That's tough. When you cannot describe a failure because you were top of your class, you were top of your extracurricular activity, you were just like the star student and the star child. Well, colleges now want to hear about how you overcame failure, because now the latest thing is embracing failure. Fail as many times so that you know that you can build resilience. And we don't like to fail. I don't like to fail. No one likes to fail. And recently, I've decided I'm going to just put myself out there. Am I going to fail? Yes. I've, made a lot of mistakes. I remember even being asked questions on air, whether it's a global radio show or, a TV interview, and I get stuck and I try to save myself. And to me, I can see the mistake. To others, they can't. And even if they did, why are we judging our worth? This is what our children are learning. Your worth is defined by accomplishments. Your worth is defined by grades. Your worth is defined by making the right choices. Who are we to say what are the right choices for our children? So, I don't know if I just started a controversial topic, but please learn to step back. Teach your children how to master boredom. I always tell them there will be many, many times in school that they will be bored. But do they want to graduate? Yes. Then we have to learn to make the most out of boredom. Sometimes creative inventions are all from being bored. You look in the sky and you just think, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to, and it becomes an idea that becomes a multi-million-dollar, business venture. But please, I've been working with so many children the past 28 years, and from the beginning till now, but I really want to stress that the past few months, to see a 6-year-old say that he doesn't want to live anymore because of being yelled at because of academic stress, or whatever it is. But when our kids feel that we are disappointed in them, it stifles creativity because they are in this panic mode. They really, truly believe that their grades define their worth. Why do they believe that? Because consequences are, and I'm not saying not to take the cell phone away, but that cell phone is like air to them. There are ways. I had one parent never really gave really harsh consequences, not like punishments, but they would talk about how can I be supportive as long as you try. I have a new, well, I've been tutoring him for a few months, but the mom was really harsh regarding bad grades. And then after talking to her, I was so proud of her and said that we need more parents like her. And she finally apologized for being so harsh. And the boy said, is it okay if I bring like B's and C's? And she said, and I'm sure it was hard to say this, it's okay. Grades don't matter. I just want to know what I can, how can I guide you? How can I help you? Is Miss Karen helping? And I was pleased to say that he said, yeah, I'm increasing my self-confidence, and I want to continue my sessions with Miss Karen during the summer. I thought, wow, during the summer. So I'm having more summer students. I'm still accepting if you have a child who needs organizational skills, motivational skills, maybe self-esteem and math. I'm going to work on with someone who's going to Japan. But via Zoom, we can make it work since it doesn't have to be in person. But I think one of my continuing goals for tutoring is how to deal with stress. So you see these videos where the little boys are putting lotion on their feet, right? Makes them laugh. They come up with some creative ideas that actually help their academics. And also really focus on fostering and building creativity, no matter how old we are. I have never painted until the pandemic, and I'm really having a lot of fun with it. And it is just so stress relieving. And so I invite you to get out of your comfort zone. Do something that terrifies you and don't judge the end result. So thank you very much for watching. Oh my gosh, the best caregiver in the world. Merlin is on. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Edwin. Sorry, I can't see the last. Someone else is on there, but thank you, guys. I am really pleased at this new career path that I am embarking on, and I'm realizing that we need to stress to our kids that it's not, the end goal should not be how do I make the most money in the world, how do I earn the best grades, how do I reach my goals, because if I don't, I'm a failure. And I think that's why there's been a lot of mental health issues. The Texas shooting, it's just, I wasn't going to talk about it, but this is why I strongly believe in my heart and soul that we need to take care of our child's mental health first before focusing on academic goals. I have seen personally kids who, I work on their self-esteem, I work on their mental health, all of a sudden their grades soar. Not that it matters, but it shows that once they're not stressed out, once creativity is fostered, anything is possible. So enjoy your Wednesday, and please message me if there's any topic that you want me to talk about. Bye.